Elevations, Poconos, Catskills, Berkshires.
Time once again for another edition of WeatherScope, which is sponsored by Sunkist. Just one Sunkist orange for 100% of your daily vitamin C.
This is WeatherScope.
Floridians assess the aftermath from the deadliest tornado outbreak in state history. 28 people are dead and damage estimates continue to rise. This storm is on the move up the eastern seaboard with heavy rain and strong winds. Welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Dennis Smith. We'll have details on that in just a minute. We're also watching a very powerful storm move on shore along the California coast. Now, the state does not need what this storm promises to deliver: more rain. In fact, for details, let's go to our forecast center with Bob Stokes.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. You're right. More rain is unneeded in California. In addition, we have high winds. We've got the threat of snows, especially along the coastal range north of San Francisco. We have flash flood warnings already in effect for some counties to the north and west of Los Angeles, not to mention the threat of mudslides and rock slides. Let's take a look at what's going on now in the California area. You see that Pacific front coming on shore. Ahead of it, a strong southeasterly wind, and we do have flood warnings in effect for portions of Santa Barbara and Ventura counties, and also the Santa Ynez Mountains looking quite rough. Several inches of rainfall. Could see some heavy snow right here, and it's just been another mess. Now, the good news is that this will be the last one in a few days after this comes on shore. But Northern California is also seeing the effects of this storm. Heavy rain began to fall in San Francisco this morning. Umbrellas and raincoats were commuters' best defense as they made their way to work. Winds will be picking up along the coast. Our best advice is just to stay indoors. Maybe play some Monopoly. Here's Buzz Bernard, senior meteorologist here at the Weather Channel. And Buzz, this is, at least with all these parades, this parade of El Nino-driven storms, this is at least in the top half of intensity, wouldn't you say?
It's a very wet storm. Maybe not so much wind with this one, but a lot of rainfall. I guess the good news for the Bay Area is that the heaviest rain is over now. The rain turning more showery in nature. There could be some brief heavy showers, but that prolonged soaking is over with.
Now, Los Angeles, as far as commuters are concerned, Buzz, it looks like a wet one.
The worst is yet to come, especially for the LA basin, I think. Right now, for instance, Los Angeles International, just overcast, but to the west of there, Santa Barbara has been raining hard all morning. We've got some rainfall reports from the mountains to the north of Santa Barbara and Ventura. Since 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time this morning, San Marcos Pass in the Santa Ynez Mountains, 3 3/4 inches of rain. Coyote Creek, which is north of Ventura, has picked up almost 4.5 inches of rain.
Those are incredible
so that
amounts.
Moisture continues to stream in over the mountains there of Southern California. Also on that, okay, we passed it, but wanted to show you that spin out in the Pacific.
Yes.
There is a body of very cold air aloft that's rotating in toward the coast of California now. That's driving this heavier, steadier rain in over the Central Valley now. The Pacific flow of moisture coming up over Southern California, creating that steady, heavy rainfall over the mountains to the west of LA there.
Well, we do have some snow advisories in effect for the mountains north of San Francisco, getting into Humboldt, Trinity, and Mendocino counties. We could see some significant snows, and the rain, of course, has been falling for a greater period of time in San Francisco than has in Los Angeles, but you can see it now moving into the north and western suburbs of Los Angeles, moving toward the south, where we do have flood warnings in effect for portions of Santa Barbara and western Ventura counties. And as you mentioned, Buzz, this moderate rain has been coming down for several hours.
It's been raining for a long time, and you can see the leading edge of that precipitation now creeping toward the LA basin, so it looks like it's going to be a very wet, homeward bound rush hour there.
Yes, and also Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties, there are wind advisories in effect. And speaking of winds, we do have some a gale warning in effect, 39 to 54 mile-per-hour winds from Point St. George, California to Pigeon Point, California, and there's the heavy surf advisory in effect through tomorrow morning. But a big story in terms of snow, Buzz. How much snow do you think the Sierra Nevada could get?
Well, when we get up in the Sierras, say above 7,000 feet, we could see several feet of snow, perhaps as much as 3 feet of snow as you get up above 7,000 feet there. And the snow levels will be dropping overnight.
Okay, so traveling is going to be well, let's say a hassle along I-5. And right here, Buzz, it looks like there's a general flood watch in effect for portions of Southern California.
Flood watch in effect, and we'll also see the snow levels drop down to about 4,000 feet in those Southern California mountains.
So with all the freeways and highways around the greater LA area, it's not going to be some traffic snarls maybe in the works this afternoon Pacific time.
Count on it.
Yeah, okay. Buzz Bernard, senior meteorologist, thanks for your insight. If you want to join us for more information, if you're away from your TV, online, this is the Weather Channel online. You can join us at weather.com. And for the rest of the nation's weather, let's go back to the studio with Dennis Smith.
Thank you, Bob. As deadly tornadoes ripped through the state of Florida last night, this afternoon that same storm system is barreling up the eastern seaboard. And while the storm has moved out of Florida, residents will be feeling its impact for some time. These are the scenes from central Florida where tornadoes tore a swath of destruction across Osceola, Seminole, Orange, and Volusia counties last night. As you can see, the damage is just massive. Unfortunately, 28 people have lost their lives. Dozens are still missing. National map, again, there's that storm system with wind and rain, the main elements, but snow along the spine of the Appalachians. Interstate 79 and 81 will be impacted. Light rain with the front in the midsection of the country. And as we've just described, the storm system in the west, a lot of rain that will bring on the potential of mudslides, rock slides, and heavy snows could eventually cause some avalanche problems down the road. Look at the eastern seaboard from Merrimack River in Massachusetts all the way down to Ocracoke Inlet in North Carolina. Continue with gale warnings in effect. That means the winds could be gusting up 40, 50 miles an hour. That's going to cause some beach erosion, maybe some coastal flooding, so keep that in mind. Heavy surf advisory is also in effect from Fenwick Island, Delaware, down to the Virginia-North Carolina border, and also from Apalachicola down to Venice in Florida on the west coast, so be extra careful. Surfers, it may look inviting out there, but it can be very dangerous with the strong undertows. National radar is still spelling out a lot of precipitation with the system in the mid-Atlantic states, including some of the heavier rains in and around the Washington, D.C. area, Baltimore, lifting on northward into Philadelphia. And here's a close-up shot of that same region. Looks like they're in the moderate to heavy rain for a couple more hours, maybe thinning out a little bit as you drive home around the Beltway later on tonight. But Dover, Delaware in for a batch of some moderate rain coming up, even around the Philadelphia area and the burbs just to the north. It looks like it will be a wet one. We had some active weather going on.